In this module, we're going to take a look at how LangChain does conversations. By conversations, I mean where you're chatting with it and it's remembering the things that you're saying to it. We see this very frequently in chatbots like ChatGPT. This was changed around quite a bit in LangChain recently, so some of my prior examples on this are now out of date. But we'll look at everything that is the most up-to-date as of mid-2025 in this video. We'll start with LangChain Conversations, and then we'll see how we can use buffered memory for that, and then also introduce summary and fixed windows. We'll get into persisting the chat so that your favorite chatbot can remember you when you come back in. And we'll create an automated kind of coder application where we have a reviewer chatbot and a code generation chatbot, and they work together through several iterations. You'll probably want to open this in Google Colab. I have a link in the description of the video. So now that we're in Colab, you'll always want to run this introductory code that I have at the top of all of these modules. This just gets everything installed that we actually need. First, just let's look at basic LangChain conversations. So you'll start with a system prompt. Just you are a helpful assistant. And I do tell it format answers with Markdown. Generally, it'll do this anyway, but this way you can have some basic formatting in there as well. If you don't want Markdown, you can tell it very specifically plain text, no formatting, and it's usually pretty happy to oblige. I'm creating this function here, which begins the conversation. We're going to basically just return the messages array that we're going to start to build this up. A conversation, at least at this lowest level, is just a series of these messages. We're starting with a system message, but we'll then get human and chatbot messages. This list will just keep building, and it's very important to remember, as you're chatting with this, you're always just sending back the entire transcript of this to the chatbot. So it sees what it's responded with as well as what you've responded with. You can totally gaslight it. You can create fake responses that it will think that it gave you, but it really did not. We'll see what this looks like kind of just in a moment. Then we create this function called converse, and we're providing a prompt, obviously the LLM that we're making use of, and then the conversation as it's going, the array, and then the new prompt. So that appends a new human message onto it, which is the prompt that we passed in. We go ahead and invoke. You'll see the command invoke a lot in LangChain. This is when we're telling it to actually run a command. And we're going to then take the output, which is going to be an AI message, and we concatenate it. And then we're going to return the content, the actual message that it gave us back. So we've got those two helpful functions. Let's go ahead and set this up. You'll see here that the model is GPT-5 Mini. I tend to upgrade these as these videos get older. You might see later versions, but as of mid-2025, GPT-5 Mini is the most cost-effective one that we can use, at least of OpenAI, for this class. We're going to use a temperature of 0.3, so it's not going to go overly creative. It's going to be pretty stable with the model. And then we are ready to go. So you'll see here, I'm building up a basic conversation. I am getting the output. I am saying, hello, what is my name? And you'll see down here, it says, I don't know your name. You haven't told me yet. But then I tell it my name, and this is just building up that array that you see. And now it's going to be able to respond. Nice to meet you, Jeff. I remember your name from the rest of the conversation. How can I help you today? We just continue. So it tells me that it's going to remember my name for the rest of the conversation, and that's precisely what it does. You can see the complete transcript of the conversation here, and this is just built up in that array. We'll go ahead and run this. Okay, so we went ahead and ran it, and it is going. And you can see it gives me largely the same thing. And if you want to see the contents of the conversation, just loop through it. You can print out each of these. If you are going to communicate with it in Markdown, you can use this handy display Markdown, especially if you are in Colab. Then it'll print out the Markdown right to the page, or to the browser window. If you're doing this offline, then you need to think about what you're really trying to render that Markdown to. Are you sending it to HTML for displaying a website? But just here in Colab, you can just do display Markdown. And if we run this code, you'll see that it is now starting to give you some Markdown with these bullets and lists and other things. Now, what if we want to use that system prompt to constrain it? So here we're telling it that you are a helpful agent, but answer only questions about life insurance. I work for the life insurance industry, so this is potentially something that I would do. And now I'm going to give it this conversation. What is my name? And you'll see that it says, I don't know your name. Even puts that in bold. And it reminds me that it's here to help me about life insurance. Then I say, okay, let me introduce myself. My name is Jeff. It's willing to deal with that. It'll take my name, even though that's really not about life insurance. But it then does pop in, how can I help you about life insurance? So if you wanted to tell it not to keep reminding you, you would put that into the system prompt. Or you might even say, limit your responses to just a sentence or two. Now, if I ask it what its favorite programming language is, then it reminds me it can only help me with life insurance. If I ask it something that does actually involve life insurance, I could say, what is the difference between a term and a whole life policy? A very basic life insurance question. And it tells me, gets into the key differences and all of these kind of things. Gives me quite a bit of information. It's quite happy. It gets to finally do its job. So this is just basic array conversations where you're building up a list of system, human, and AI prompts as you build up a conversation. We'll see that there's other ways that you can do this as well that are a bit more advanced, which we'll look at in the next part. Thank you for watching this video, and if this was useful, please click the like button and subscribe to the channel so that you stay up to date on all of my classes and other projects in artificial intelligence.